Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. You should buy this. Here it is. The Eternal Dream Christmas 2024. This is a gigantic collection. Here's a PS Vita for scale, so you can see just how big this book is. Because I have a large head, so maybe that'll somewhat diminish the size of this volume. The Eternal Dream Christmas 2024. About 600 pages. I've done this before, for those of you who've been around a while, with the Krampus Christmas and the Fantasy Christmas Spectacular 2019, I think. So here we are, Eternal Dream Christmas 2024. This has 10 books in it. They're all Eternal Dream books. All of the Eternal Dream books except for the Moonsong series, which just wasn't going to fit into it. And because that's kind of an auxiliary thing that takes place way later in my little universe, I'm going to put that in maybe a separate volume and collect those books. There are more of those coming in 2025, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of collect everything. This will only be available this Christmas through January, so if you get some Amazon cards, you could still buy it through January, but just this season, like the other collections, and then it'll be gone. So if you want a giant physical copy, extremely limited to just however many get sold in the next month or so, then this is a great opportunity to get that. If you want to give this as a gift to somebody to help them get into my wild fantasy universe, then this is a good opportunity. It even has one book which has never been published before in print. That is The Bright Children. That was on Kindle Vela as an experimental piece to kind of see what that platform did, which was nothing, pretty much. Or it was available to patrons on my Patreon. Of course, I'll have my Patreon linked down below, but this will be the first time that you can get it in print. It will have a regular release in 2025, a little bit closer to some sequels to that first book. So the books that are in this, Bright Children, okay, all of the Eternal Dream Legends books, which are the kind of auxiliary books to my universe, Crown of Sight, Al Shafalva, the tragedy, Sorcerer's Blood, which I wrote live on the channel, live on stream. Then you have Garamesh and the Farmer, a fairy tale that I put out some years ago, and the Wasting Desert fantasy horror book, as well as the two main sequence books, Water of Awakening and Needle Ash, the Needle Ash trilogy, which you can buy now as a single volume with all three of those books in it. So that's what you get. You get 10 of those books that I've put out for, I think, $29.99 for the big giant volume, or $9.99 for the ebook, so there is some value there. Yes, the giant physical copy is more expensive, but it costs money to print something this large and to have that exist and have the royalties roughly equal the cost of the ebook. So if you want that big giant physical copy, yeah, this is a great way to get it, and you actually still will save money compared to buying, 10 paperbacks and collecting them that way. So this is an easy way to get your hands on it. It is formatted inside the way the other ones were, with 2 columns. I possibly could have fit more books into it, like the Moonsong books, if I made the type like really Bible small and very, very narrowly spaced, but I wanted it to be a good reading experience. And I think it is still a good reading experience in the 2 columns. I think it looks good. It includes the illustrations and the maps in the various books. So Needle Ash has both a map and some illustrations, and the other ones do have maps. So if you want to look at the maps that I drew for those, I have one behind me over here, then that will also be in there in probably the biggest format that you can get some of those in. They're nice and big in this version. So go ahead and grab that. It's huge. Here's your PS Vita for scale to see how big it is, right? It's not just my giant head, right? I have a big head, and it's big compared to my big head. For those of you who are interested in being patrons, this month's book is Afterglow Generation Y, a collection of a bunch of stories about people in my generation, 1990s, the 2000s, and the transition from an analog to a digital society, and how that affected people that were born roughly in the early 1980s. And of course, everybody that joins Patreon gets a copy of Keys to Prolific Creativity, so it's a great way to get that. So I thought I would do a little announcement and show you this giant volume. I did design this cover live on stream. It was kind of a fun experience. So if you want this book, you can get it over the next month. Then it's going to be gone, and you can go back to collecting the individual books. The third book in the main sequence of the Eternal Dream books, King Leper, that'll be out in 2025. I know I've been teasing that one for a while, and it's becoming like, it's not It's like the Chinese democracy of my books, but it's been done for a while. I'm just trying to get a cover done and get all that stuff set up for people to enjoy that. So if you want to get in on what I've been doing fantasy-wise for a couple of years now in preparations for that book, which will draw heavily on several of the books in here, including Water of Awakening, Needle Ash especially, All Shall Fall, then Crown of Sight especially, those ones will all have a big impact on what King Leper will be. And what I think will be book 4 has been, I've been in the process of writing it live on the channel. So if you want to see what it's like for somebody to just write fantasy live, I do that every Friday night at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. So drop in and say hi. And maybe that's really boring to hear ambient guitar music that I've recorded on my other channel while I write some music, but some people like to come in and see that. And so you can see that, yes, they're not written by AI. A human being is creating the books, and you can see what it's like to actually draft something live sometime. So anyway, that's that. Check it out. $29.99 for the big boy, and then it's going to be $9.99 for the ebook as usual. So grab that while you can, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day.